Hello and welcome to my home. If you're new here, my name's Karen. With the busy season upon us, I am all about sheet pan dinners, and so today I'm going to bring you two of my favorite sheet pan dinners. First up is Italian chicken. This is a recipe that is actually from my daughter Rachel. I'm going to get carrots and potatoes peeled, and I use enough that I think is good for my family. So basically that's going to be 3 to 4 large carrots and 1 potato per person and 1 piece of chicken per person. I like to use the California golden potatoes, and so I'm just getting those washed up, and I'm going to be cutting them up with the peel on. This video is a collab hosted by Domestic Diva Cooking. I hope you'll check out her channel and consider subscribing. I'm going to have the full playlist of everyone who's bringing a sheet pan recipe today in my description box below, which is going to give you tons of ideas that you could be sheet pan cooking all the way to Christmas. As you can see, once I get these vegetables cut, I'm putting them right on my sheet, leaving room for the chicken. Because I'm serving 8 people in my family, I'm actually doing 2 sheet pans of the same thing. I had gotten the really thick boneless breast of chicken, so as you can see, I cut it lengthwise so that it would be thinner, and then I'm cutting them in half and putting them on the sheet. So I'm doing 1 thin piece per person, which was actually 1 full breast for 2 people, and that turned out perfect. I love these sheet pans all constructed. I just think they look so pretty. I'm spraying avocado oil across the top, but you could use whatever oil is your favorite. For my seasonings, I don't measure, I just sprinkle. So I start out with some garlic powder, and of course with this one, less is more, and then a good deal of onion powder. Next is basil, and honestly you can't go wrong with these. You're just sprinkling them across the top of the pan. I'll have all these seasonings listed in my description box below. Next is oregano, and I tend to go a little bit light with oregano. Then thyme, next parsley, and finally salt and pepper. Now I'm just doing the exact same thing with my second pan. There it is, all beautiful and ready to go in the oven. I'm going to put it in a 425-degree oven. I cooked this for 45 minutes, making sure that my potatoes and carrots were tender and the chicken was cooked through, and it was so delicious. Next up is a Parmesan Encrusted steak. These ingredients you see here come together for the most delicious flavor. First, I'm getting my potatoes scrubbed up. I'll have this recipe linked in my description box below. I did make some adjustments just for our own flavor and preferences. For example, the recipe called for red potatoes, but I had these yellow California potatoes in the house, so that's what I'm using. I'm putting these right in a mixing bowl, and then I can just add the seasoning to the potatoes because these are going in the oven first. So in my bowl, I'm putting 2 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese, 2 tablespoons of the avocado oil, but the recipe did call for olive oil, 1 garlic clove, but I gotta be honest, when it comes to garlic, we're dumpers. We just dump it all in. Look at that. That's a lot of garlic. Salt to taste, so I'm adding about a 1/2 teaspoon, and then a 1/2 teaspoon of cracked pepper. I don't have cracked pepper, so I'm just using our regular pepper shaker. I'm going to stir this up thoroughly and make sure that all the potatoes are coated with this wonderful seasoning. Then I'm laying down some parchment paper on my baking sheet, and I'll spread out those potatoes. You'll want to broil them on high for 6 to 8 minutes or until they just start to get lightly brown. I'm slicing up 2 pounds of flank steak. If you don't have flank steak, I think a London broil would also be perfect for this recipe. I chose 2 pounds because that's what it takes to feed my family. As a general rule, you would think about a half a pound per person. I actually was doing about a third of a pound per person because I'm serving 6 people today. I'm putting the cut steak in the same bowl because I'm just going to be mixing the same seasoning with each stage of this recipe. I'm adding salt and pepper, two more cloves of garlic, 2 more tablespoons of Parmesan cheese. You'll also want to add 1 tablespoon of olive oil. I'm checking my potatoes to see if they're brown, and they are, so I'm going to take them out, shove them more to the side, and add my steak. I'm also going to be dividing these up into 2 pans because, as in the first recipe, to feed my family, it doesn't just take 1 sheet pan. I realized I hadn't done the best job cutting the steak, so I'm just trimming it on each side with my kitchen shears to separate the pieces. You'll cook the steak about 4 to 6 minutes on each side, but you'll want to check it because everyone has a different opinion on how well done their steak should be. And now I'm just getting things put on my second pan. The recipe called for asparagus, and you would add it at the same time as the steak. It does not take asparagus very long to cook at all. If you're new to my channel, my goal is to be an encouragement to all people who are managing and keeping their homes, and I do that by showing what I'm doing around my home with cleaning videos. I also love to share cleaning tips and things I've learned along the way in my 30 years of home keeping. I share recipes, and I also love to share craft DIYs. I share the craft DIYs about once a month. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, I invite you to just poke around my channel, watch a few more videos, and see if you might consider subscribing. I am very thrilled to offer a positive community here. If you read the comments in my comment section, you'll see that all of the people who comment down there are just lovely and very encouraging, motivating, and very positive. To your vegetables, you're going to want to add a half tablespoon of olive oil or avocado oil, salt and pepper to taste, and at this point I'm just sprinkling Parmesan cheese across the top. I would say 1 tablespoon. And then 1 more garlic clove. I just added a little bit because I still had quite a bit in the bowl. Now you'll add your Brussels sprouts. This took about an additional 5 minutes of cook time. This recipe was such a huge hit, my kids are asking to replace Thanksgiving dinner with this, so that just speaks for itself. Remember, I'll have Domestic Diva cooking linked in my description box below, as well as the full playlist of amazing recipes. Remember, as always, that God loves you and I love you too, and I can't wait to see you next time.